Hey there, it's Jamie Scrimger here, and you're listening to the Kick-Ass Stepmom podcast. I'm a wife, a mom, a stepmom, a coach, a conversation opener, and a BS caller. 8 years ago, I found myself sitting on the bathroom floor, bawling my eyes out, wondering what the heck I was thinking, marrying a man with 3 kids and an ex-wife. Look, don't get me wrong, I was madly in love, the kids were great, but being a stepmom is, well, it's just complicated. If you know, you know. As a 26-year-old with zero experience in the parenting department, I went to the internet for support. But I was disappointed with what I found. So I decided to create the type of support I was looking for. Raw, real, solution-focused conversations about all things motherhood, stepmotherhood, and living a kick-ass life. Life can be hard, really freaking hard. But it's entirely possible to thrive amongst the tough stuff. Each week, I will bring you tips and strategies and mindset shifts to inspire you to live your own version of a kick-ass life, while bringing you along as I create my own. Let's do this. Hello. Welcome to another episode of the Kick-Ass Stepmom podcast. So this episode may feel a little familiar for some of you because I'm about to share the replay of a live webinar that my husband Darren and I did about 6 months ago. And we called it our blueprint to improving your stepfamily life. So yeah, this was a live webinar and we basically just went through the lessons that we've learned, the changes that we've made to how we approach our stepfamily life, the mistakes we've made. I talk about my decision to disengage and why I made that decision. We dive into how we think partners should respond when the ex disrespects the stepmom, rules we've made to prevent arguments about our stepfamily stress. It's just a jam-packed episode. And we get pretty real about where we were and where we are now and how we got to this place. Because guys, we have come so far. So I'm really excited to share this with you. The feedback from the webinar was so great. And I know that a lot of stepmoms actually listened with their partners and it opened up a lot of productive conversations, which I absolutely love. So before we get to this episode, I do want to make sure that you guys are up to date with all that's going on with the exclusive stepmom community, which is my membership. So I have been running this membership for a few years now. And I love the connections I've made. I love the community we've built. It has really been everything that I hoped it would be and more. However, recently I made a decision that I'm going to do this membership for just one more year. So yeah, one more year for the membership. So for the next 12 months, the membership is going to be an exclusive space where I share everything that stepmoms need to know to live a kick-ass life and thrive amongst the extra stress. So it is going to be a 12-month commitment and an access to a library of content and support for you to go through whenever you need it the most. Like I am going balls to the walls and putting everything in there that I think you guys need. And then when the 12 months is up, the goal is for you to feel so confident in your mindset and your perspective and your strategies that you're going to feel okay with walking it on your own. You're going to feel confident and secure and your relationships will be improved. You will have boundaries set. You will just feel, confident in yourself as a stepmom and the role that you're playing in your family, no matter what. So one more year. Now, if you want to join and are ready to make 2022 the year that everything changes, or if you have been thinking about joining the membership and you're like, maybe I will in a little while, now is the time because it's not going to be here forever. So get on in there, www.jamiescrimger.com/membership. So just a reminder, members get access to monthly workshops, my best coaching strategies for stepmoms, a forum where you can connect with me in the Ask Jamie section, or you can connect with stepmoms from over 30 countries around the world. You can come to my office hours if you want to connect face-to-face. You get access to exclusive interviews and member-only podcast episodes, discounts on one-on-one coaching. Like there is so much in there. And you also get access to a library of all the interviews and support that I've shared for the last couple of years. So you get a backlog of all of the membership content. So yes, for the next 12 months, it's going to be this private space where we go all in. So if you're interested in joining, do it now because enrollment is closing. www.jamiescrimger.com/membership. Everything you need to set boundaries, improve relationships, manage your triggers, feel more in control, and get individualized support from me when you need it. So head to the site to learn more and see what other stepmoms are saying, and I will see you in there. All right, let's get to the episode. This episode is sponsored by Stepmom Magazine. Guys, Stepmom Magazine is probably one of the only stepmom resources that I check out on a regular basis. It is an online magazine with articles from all the top step parenting experts on all things stepmom life. If you've been through it, Stepmom Magazine has covered it. The articles inside Stepmom Magazine are written by a hand-selected team of experts. Contributors are licensed therapists and published authors and stepfamily professionals who just get it. Stepmom Magazine also has ebooks that you can download if you're struggling with a particular issue, such as disengaging or dealing with the ex or having an R's baby and more. It is a super cost-effective way to get support and, most importantly, reassurance that you're not alone. It is such a great feeling when you get the monthly email letting you know that the monthly edition is ready. The articles are always so timely. To subscribe, head to www.stepmommagazine.com and use the code Jamie20 to save 20%. Again, that's www.stepmommagazine.com and use the code Jamie20 for 20% off. If you were to have told me some of the things that I'm going to tell you today, when I first became a stepmom, I would have been like, no, that doesn't work for me. That doesn't work for our family. But looking back, it was about ego. It was about my desire for perfection. It was about proving myself. And I was really, really codependent, like some very unhealthy codependency behaviors. And so I just want you to go into this with an open mind, because you can change the way so much is going on in your stepfamily life right now, but you have to go in with an open mind and you have to check your ego. So hopefully everyone is ready to check their ego, listen with an open mind. And you may hear things in this webinar that you're like, oh my gosh, that is bull. That doesn't work for me. That's cool. Just listen with an open mind. And, maybe in a couple years, you may see things different. Who knows? You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So the first thing that we really did, and we did this a couple years ago that was huge for us, is we made the commitment to stop fighting about the ex. Because we used to fight about the ex a lot. You would come home. Do you remember that day when you came home and we had got a lawyer's letter and we were kind of in the middle of like this up and down trying to solve this issue, and it was like happening over and over again, and you were relaying the information to me from the lawyers, and then you and I started fighting, but it wasn't about anything that we had an issue in our marriage. And you said to me, you're like, stop, let's not let an outside factor play a role in our marriage. And we made a rule right then and there. Do you remember that in the kitchen?
Yeah. It can become very stressful at times. And I think emotions get in the way. And we used to, all of a sudden, we'd be arguing over it. And this isn't our argument. It's my argument with another person.
Yeah. And it was about how I wanted you to respond, or things that were outside of my control, or like things in the legal agreement that I might not have agreed with. Cause like I wasn't here when you guys created that legal agreement, right? So we made a rule right then and there that we will not fight about the ex. We will not. Under no circumstance will we allow that to come in between our marriage. And I know that sounds super corny, guys. You're like, yeah, until you get in a fight about the ex. Like it's easy to say that when you're not fighting or you're not emotional. But making that commitment can go a long way. So now if we're feeling like heated, or if we're feeling, something's going on, we'll take a break. Like I remember walking to the basement that day and being like, I just need 5 minutes. Like I have to cool down. And that's okay. Like you can do that, but just don't let that outside person play a role in your marriage, because man, you don't stand a chance if that's what you do.
Yeah, because the fight's not with each other typically. You don't always agree on what compromises are made or what happens, but you try to recognize that it's not with each other.
Yeah, it's not with each other. And, it goes to the next point that we want to say is that you don't always respond to things the way that I would. Like when it comes to the ex and when it comes to like legal things, or even just like with the kids and like tons of stuff. There's so many things that Darren does that I'm like, why? Why do you respond? Or I want you to do something a different way, or I want you to say things a certain way. Who's done that before? Who's been like, oh, just say this, or why don't you say this? Or I want you to deal with it like that. And then when they don't, you're pissed, right? But one thing that really helped us is that we started to say like, why? instead of going in and being like, you need to do this because this is how I feel and this is what I think is right, why are you responding this way?
And that goes back to, I've always got a ton of different things on my mind. You're coming from your side, and I'm coming from my ex's side. I'm coming from the kids. I'm coming from what is worth engaging, what is not, what is going to, poke the bear, so to speak.
I knew you were going to say poke the bear. I just knew you were going to say it. Yeah. And when you would explain to me why you didn't respond or why you thought this was a priority, then I'd be like, oh, okay, I get it. But for the longest time, I was like not giving you even like a say, not giving you time to explain why you would respond that way. So just having that conversation, saying like, why do you think this is important? What do you think is going to be the outcome? And like going in without having those, just waiting to tell them how to do it. And it goes both ways, right? Because there's been times when I've explained to you why I think we should do something this way. And you're like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, I get it. But you have to have those conversations without emotion. So if you need to take a time out.
I think you have to put yourself in the other person's shoes or multiple shoes.
Empathy. It goes a long way for sure. All right. Anything else on that one? No?
I don't think so.
Next thing that's really helpful, guys, and this might, you might be like, oh, this is corny, Jamie. It's corny, but it's true. The vibe of your house. Like, what is the tone when people walk in your home? How do you want people to feel? So I can guarantee you there's people who are listening to this live stream, who are watching the replay, who can feel the tension when their stepkids walk in the door, or when they're pissed at their husband or their partner because they haven't responded in the way they wanted them to, or, just that energy. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the energy when you walk into the home.
Yeah. Nobody wants to walk into a home where you can cut the tension with a knife, or it's uncomfortable, or certain people are uncomfortable. It's not a nice environment.
No.
And trying to keep that environment, even at the worst times, upbeat and positive
and safe.
And
safe. Kids want to feel loved and they want to feel safe.
When you would let little things bother you, and it would
You're talking about me?
Yeah, a little bit. Well, it would change the vibe of the house. When you were ticked off, you make it known.
Yeah, I do.
So it's
you do
good.
Too.
But usually pretty quick to let people know.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing, right? Like there's always even that like hi bye war. Like, oh, my stepkids don't say hi to me when they walk in the door. Well, maybe they don't like you. Maybe they are pissed that they have to come. And maybe they're picking up in the tension. What if you just said hi to them first? Like, what if you were just the bigger person on that? Like, I
think you have to be the bigger person. You're the adult. Because kids are kids, and that doesn't just apply to a step relationship. I think kids will walk in and walk right by me and head to their room or head to their game console or go back outside and drop their bag and, oh, hey, how are you?
Haven't seen you in a week. What's up? Like, how's it going?
I think you can't take that personally.
Well, and I think that a lot of times people will say, well, my stepkid did this, or they're treating me like this. And they take it personally. They think it's about the step family dynamic, when really it's actually just a kid being a kid. And we often will just think it's about, you take it personally, right? You're being too sensitive. Like the kids can walk in and not say hi to you.
Yeah.
And you guys have a great relationship.
Yeah. I think if you don't take it personally and realize that kids are kids. And sometimes as the step or you used to call yourself kind of outside of the family at times, not anymore, but you would feel that, you'd take that stuff more personal than the rest of us would.
Yeah. So just say hi. Be like, hey guys, what's up? And if they're like,
take the high road.
Just always say hello. And so tips for setting the vibe in the home, like these are the little things, but I like to have soft music on, light candles, dim the lights, like just literally think, how do I want people to feel when they walk into my home? Like how do I want the kids to feel? What do I want the kids to remember about the atmosphere here? Think about it. Right. And I'll let you guys think about that, because you guys are all going to do different things in your own home. But that's something I've been really focusing on this year. And it's made such a difference. Like I really, especially during COVID and lockdown, I was like, what is the vibe of this house and how does it make people feel? Speaking of that, you can probably share a little bit about this. Remember when the kids were young and I would have issues with the kids and I'd come to you and be like bombarding you with all the things the kids were doing to piss me off.
Oh, it was like having a tattletale in the house.
Yeah. That's nice.
Look, if we're being honest, it was like having...
Yeah, I did tell you to be honest.
It's even if it offends you.
Yeah.
It was in that, especially when I would just walk in the door, when you would come running up and
sometimes I'd meet you outside.
Oh yeah. I wouldn't even get out of the car. I could see you coming. I'm like, oh, this is not what I need after a long day at work. And you would be right on me. And I'm like, can I just get undressed and relax for a minute before we get into this? But
I would totally.
This is what's going on, and so I think that set a bad vibe. Back to your other one, right away when we'd walk in and there'd be tension. I think that's something that you want to tell me what's going on. Obviously, it's very important, but give it a few minutes and do it at the right time, and decide whether it is really worthy of telling me. If it was just somebody didn't clean up their room or something like that, is that really worth jumping on me as soon as we get home?
Are you asking me?
No. Pointing a few things out from previous years.
Oh, I know. I used to do that all the time. Or I'd call him at work and be like, this is what's happening. It's like, that's not nice for anyone. No one wants to live like that, right? Like, so really think about how you're communicating what your issues are, and give yourself time to just chill. So if you're dealing with something with the kids while, your partner's at work, just relax for a little bit. Take 24 hours or, even take a couple hours, or wait till you're at home and everything's settled. Don't go after your partner right when they come in the door and just bombard them with everything, because it doesn't set the tone. The other thing that's really good is to pick and choose when you're going to have conversations about what's happening and what's bothering you. I really I wake up early, so I'm already thinking about all the things that are pissing me off. As soon as I wake up in the morning, Darren isn't up as I'm up at 5. You get up at 7, and then you're getting ready for work, and he's watching the news and updates for work and all these things. And then I'm like, hey, can we talk about the kids are disgusting. They're leaving dirty dishes in their rooms. That's not when he wants to have that conversation, right? And also all kids leave dirty dishes in their rooms. It's pretty age appropriate, but I used to try to have these conversations when he's not in the headspace. So even just asking permission, saying, hey, when's a good time to talk about all the things that are pissing me off? You know what I mean? Yeah. Get a journal. No, but just being very deliberate about when you have those conversations, because you need to be in the headspace to hear it. You really, really do.
Oh, absolutely. And mornings I'm usually busy. It's not a great time.
No, it's not a great time. How many times did I try to talk to you and you'd walk out the door, and then we would get into an argument because I was like, you're not hearing me. You don't think this is a priority. And you're like, seriously, lady, I got to get to work. I just don't have time for this conversation right now. I'd feel unseen. I'd feel unheard. I felt like my opinion didn't matter. And you're like, no, I just got to go to work. Can we talk later?
Yeah. Timing is important in this kind of thing.
Yeah. You'd be very particular.
You come in and bombard me with something and I'm not in the mood, or I'm busy with 10 other things on my mind. It's not a great time to have a conversation.
And vice versa.
A dish. Yeah.
A better dish.
And you used to do that too. You'd call me at work and start, and I'm in the middle of stuff. Can we talk about this later tonight when I get home?
No.
Because you'd want to address it right now.
Right. So anyway.
So that is important, to pick your battle, pick your time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And me too. Yeah, it's the same thing.
It makes a huge, huge difference. Next thing is really big for us is we've learned to be proactive with our stressors. So if you're watching this live, in the comments, do you know when things are going to, be an issue in your step family? Can you predict things almost? Darren would say to me, how did you know? How did you know that was going to happen? Or something with the ex or something with my step, because I'm like, this is what's going to happen. And he'd be like, no, it'll be fine. And then it would happen and I would be right, because I often am. And it's because it gets cyclical. You can predict things, right? So instead of being surprised when it happens, why don't you just expect it to happen? Okay. So, if you constantly have issues about back to school with the ex, well, predict it and plan for it. How are you going to minimize the impact this has on you? Is there anything that you can do to prevent it from happening? So we're really big on being proactive about how you're going to respond to things when they happen. So you go in with a plan and don't feel emotional and don't react emotionally, because that's never anyone's shiniest moment. So what's an example of that?
Well, we know back to school is a stressful period.
Yeah.
Right now it's different because of COVID, but typically back to school is one of our more stressful periods, because you've had the summer and the kids have been off by and large, and schedules aren't as rigorous. And when you go back to school, all of a sudden you're running from place to place. We have to coordinate times. We have to make lunches in the morning. We have to get homework done at night. We've got extracurricular activities. So we know that is going to be a stressful time. So we will, at the end of the summer, start prepping for how are we going to handle things this fall.
Yeah. And even when it comes to the co-parenting piece, it's typically an issue like who's going to do what? Like who's going to, like, what if the kids need skates, or who's going to sign the lunch forms, or like, pizza lunches always used to be the big thing that were a big stressor for us, is like, whose month was it to do pizza lunch? So instead of being like, oh, well, it's her turn, make a big deal about it, proactively in our mind, we'd be like, okay, whatever. Like, let's just take care of pizza lunch, or let's be proactive and remind them that pizza lunch is due on their week, right? So those are little things, but there's so many big things too. Like, how are you going to respond when your boundaries are crossed? How are you going to respond when on Sunday night, when the kids go back to their moms, you get the scathing email? How are you going to respond to that email? Because you got the email last week and you got the email the week before. So you should expect the email. And the reaction you had last week and the reaction you had the week before didn't work, because here you are again. So what are you going to do this time? Right? So that's what I mean about being proactive, and really like identifying and thinking about those situations that keep coming up again and again and again, because they're going to keep coming up again and again and again if you don't start to do something different and minimize the impact they have on you. So that goes to about boundaries.
Yeah, everything's a pattern. We've found a lot of stuff.
Everything's a pattern.
Well, dealing with my ex, it's like clockwork. We can almost predict what's going to happen when we ask for this, or we do this, or we do that. We pretty much know the outcome before it happens or get ignored. We know that's coming. It's just being able to, what are we going to do when that happens? And we already know, because we know. And again, that's just because we've had more time, but people that are new to this maybe don't. But, it is like Groundhog Day sometimes.
I knew you were going to say that too. Groundhog Day and Poke the Bear. Those are your things. Those are your good ones.
Love animals.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's the thing, right? Like, you can get really stuck on who's right and who's wrong and like making a point and whatever. What are you going to do to minimize the impact it has on you and your family? Who cares about who's right and who's wrong and like making a point and all of that? Like, is it worth it? Sometimes it is, but a lot of the times it isn't. So try not to get stuck in that like tit for tat, and just be like, how are we just going to live a good life? And you can't control the ex. You cannot control the ex. You can't control what they say. You can't control what they do. You can't control how they respond. So what are you going to do? What's in your power so that you don't let that energy come into your home?
And sometimes just biting the bullet and doing something. We used to get into arguments over who was driving 5 minutes or 10 minutes
to drop off like a hockey bag.
And I'm just like, let's just do it. This is the stupidest thing in the world, being so petty over who's going to drive. And it used to actually be an argument, which now shocks me. So we don't even ask anymore. We'll just
do it, right?
Let's just do it. One of us do it and get it done.
What is worth your time and energy? It's a big one. Okay. So just going through, don't bombard your partner and be proactive with your stressors. Your marriage will get so much better as soon as you stop bombarding. Agree? Okay. So dealing with the ex, accept that's how they're going to be. So what we mean there is like, you can't change someone. You can't change how they act and how they react and how they see a situation. And it's important to remember, like, two people can see, like Darren and I can get in an argument, and we're married and love each other, right? Yeah. We can get in an argument, and I'm 100% sure I'm right. And he's 100% sure he's right. And we see the same.
110.
Yeah. We see the same situation in two very different ways. And 3 days later, we can like still see it that way. So throw in like a divorce and like all the emotions that come with that, and just like different perspectives and different lenses. The way your husband or your partner's ex sees things is probably entirely different than the way you do. And just accepting that, and accepting that that's how they're always going to be. All right. So maybe they will change. People do change, but for the most part, you're going to be dealing with the same stuff over and over again. So one thing that's been really good for us is to just stop expecting anything different. When we stopped expecting anything different, life just got so much easier, because you would always be like, oh no, I think it's better this time. I think this is going to be the time that we're going to be able to figure this out.
Glass half full. I would always be optimistic that, we're going to work this one out, and then no, get down to even the 11th hour. And I think, wow, this is going, and then no, things would not work out. So we've just learned to don't expect anything different. What's going to happen.
Yeah, for sure. And, even with me, I'll share a little bit. Like, I always had this dream that we were going to have this really healthy co-parenting relationship. I thought we could have wine and talk about the kids and like have one of those really good relationships that you see on Facebook, those posts that go viral that make you feel like maybe you're doing something wrong because your relationship isn't like that. I really wanted to be like that person. I really wanted to have that type of relationship. And I kept putting myself in situations and hoping for it. And putting myself out there, and then things would be good for a little bit, and then I'd end up being disappointed again. And then things would be good, and I'd be like, oh, okay, maybe this is it. Then I'd be disappointed again. You need to stop putting yourself in situations over and over again that is going to make you be disappointed. Because at some point you're responsible for that experience, right? So you can only do that over and over and over again so many times until you're responsible for that feeling. So I just stopped. I let go of that expectation, and it's been really healing for us. And it's disappointing, and it's okay to be disappointed in whatever type of relationship that you have or whatever you're going through. But at the end of the day, you can't change another person. So just accept who they are and what they're about and how they see a situation. And it is what it is. When you let it go, it feels better.
And yeah, we've talked about that the ex's version of this situation is very different. We've even done dialogue on that where, well, this is what she'll be saying. And yeah, that's probably what she's saying. So,
and that's her experience.
That's
her truth.
Where it's reality to her. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've done that. Just, okay. Yeah, that's probably what she's thinking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And, who's to say what's right or wrong? I don't know. I like to think I'm right most of the time, but it is what it is. So yeah, that is a big one. It's like, think about this example. If your kid was going to school every single day and playing with the same kid over and over again and coming home and saying like, little Johnny punched me on the soccer field. So little Johnny punches your kid on the soccer field the one day. So you call the school, you deal with it. Johnny gets in trouble. Your kid goes to school the next day. Johnny does it again. Maybe Johnny doesn't do it on Wednesday, but Johnny does it again on Friday, and then next Wednesday, and then next Thursday. At what point do you say to your kid, dude, stop hanging out with Johnny? Like, you have to take some responsibility for putting yourself in this situation. So think about that, right? Like, I like that analogy. Your family won't function like a first family. That's something that is really, really big to understand. A lot of stepmoms and partners come in with expectations on how relationships are going to be, on how people are going to react to each other, and what their family is going to function like. And then they're left feeling disappointed because they have these expectations. Just remember, your family won't function like a first family, at least not all the time. And as soon as you accept that and let go of the fact that life is not going to look the way that you maybe dreamed about when you were 5, 6, 12, 16, whatever, that's really, really helpful, because you're going to be disappointed because you can't control how other people are going to view this family and view you and the relationships. Like, there's so many moving parts in blended families. So just letting go of that, you can be disappointed. You can grieve that. You can sit in that disappointment and be like very present in that. But you do have to move forward and just accept that your family isn't going to function that way. And every family has their stuff, right? Like, everyone has their drama. Everyone has their stuff. This is yours. So just accepting that piece. Anything on that?
It does. It feels like family. But yeah, it functions different than a normal family.
Yeah.
Is there a normal family? What is normal now? But it still feels like family. And I think that's where you get that euphoria that you've had this great time over a holiday or when the kids are here, and it feels like family. But then reality kicks in when they go back to their mother's place and we miss them. And so it is what you're saying is it functions in a different manner, but it's still great and it's still wonderful, but it's different.
Yeah, but and sometimes it's not wonderful though. Like, sometimes I'm sad that the kids don't see me as, for the longest time I was sad that they didn't see me as a motherly figure. I wanted to, in a first family dynamic, I would be the mom, right? I couldn't be trumped by you. I wouldn't have to ask permission to, I would be able to do all the things that the moms do, but we don't get to do that. And I think that's where a lot of stepmoms really feel like they have to mourn the loss of the family that they thought they would have. And then there's the concept of subfamilies. That's really helpful. So understanding, so in our family, the concept of subfamilies, we have one large family. So my stepkids, I have 3 stepkids, our daughter Reese, and then my husband and I, and then you guys are a family. You and the kids, you had a family unit before I was part of it. And then we have you, Reese, and I, we're kind of function as a family on some weeks. Like there's different sub-families within that family unit. That also eases a lot of people's anxiety because, yeah, we do get to function like a family when it's just the three of us. And then you guys get to do things alone and have that bond. And that's all okay. It's all okay for everyone to kind of do things separately within that family unit as well. Clear as mud?
Yep.
Got it. Okay, so let's talk about the disrespecting piece. Disrespecting the stepmom.
Who, disrespecting the ex or the kids?
The kids or the ex.
Both?
Like, let's talk about, because people do, the stepmoms can get shit on.
Oh, yeah. When you first came along, you had a nickname. We've talked about that before.
The Pop-Tart. Do you guys remember when my blog was the Pop-Tart Diaries? Yeah. That's when this house started. I was called Darren's Pop-Tart. I liked the name.
She liked the name, but I thought it was disrespectful. And I asked after a year, she has a name. It's Jamie. And so you have to align and not let your ex disrespect your current spouse. And if they do, you need to sort of address that right away, or else it can become a thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't right away. I just, whatever, we thought it was funny.
I liked it.
You actually liked it.
I was fine with it.
But I thought it was disrespectful. So, and then same with the kids, you always have to stand your ground. And because once you give a little bit on that and the kids feel they can do that, they're smart. They will do that. If they don't get their answer they're looking for, or they want a trump card, they will disrespect you and take full advantage of it. I'm not saying all kids, but some of them will use that to their advantage. But I just think you have to draw that line and make sure that all of them respect you.
Yeah. I get a lot of stepmoms reach out and they're saying their husband doesn't stick up. Like the ex will call the stepmom names and the husband doesn't stick up for her and like all of that. You have to stick up for your wife. You should not let anyone talk crap about your wife ever, right? So you decide how she's going to do that moving forward and just say, I'm not willing to have a conversation with you if you're going to disrespect my wife. End of story.
And it's hard because in a lot of cases, the ex naturally dislikes you before they've even given you a chance. No, any stepmom. So I'm just trying to let stepmoms know that the ex already has a grudge, or, even if it's an amicable situation, they still don't love you. And so you really have to draw the line. Well, you really have to draw the line on respect. And again, we learn that, and we do. And that's, the way we roll.
The ex doesn't have to like you, and your stepkids don't have to like you. People don't have to like you. But they can't disrespect you.
It helps if the kids like you.
It does really help if the kids like you.
I think you want to try and work to have that.
But if they don't, there's situations where the stepkids don't like the stepmom for reasons that have nothing to do with the stepmom. It's about what she represents. It's about things that their mom has said to them. It's about this loyalty issue. They feel like if they like their mom, like their stepmom, their mom's going to get mad. Like all of that. But they still have to treat you with respect. And your partner needs to be the one to assert that. So if you're listening to this right now and your partner or your husband or whatever, and your stepkids or your ex is disrespecting, and you need to shut it down because you decide how you allow people to treat you. I'm going to talk about codependency for a second here because I used to be super codependent and I didn't realize how codependent I was until I did an interview with Shelley Ware in the exclusive community, which is my membership space for stepmoms. And she was explaining what codependency is. So a codependent is someone who cannot function on their own and whose thinking and behavior is instead organized around another person, process, or substance. Hang tight. Many codependents place a lower priority on their own needs while being excessively preoccupied with the needs of others. That was me, excessively preoccupied with the needs of others. I would take over and try to solve your problems. I would try to solve issues with the ex. I would prioritize your parenting responsibilities and things that we needed to do for the kids over anything that I had going on. I would be like, well, I need to be there for that. I need to be available for the kids, or I'll do that. I would take over and try to solve all of Darren's problems. And in doing that, I went in and stopped doing all the things that I loved. And I started to care more about his stuff than he actually cared about his stuff. And it would cause issues with us. Like, even we were dealing with like legal bills and lawyers and trying to figure out a discrepancy in child support. And I took it upon myself to create a proposal and meet my husband's ex for coffee and like have a conversation to try to solve the problem because I was gonna do it all. And it caused me so much anxiety, and it affected the way that I was showing up for everyone. And I know there's a lot of stepmoms who do this, and you're going to say, well, if I don't do it, he won't do it. It's his stuff. Like, it's his stuff to deal with. And sometimes you need to take that step back and just really trust them to deal with things. And if they don't think it's a priority, like, you can't care more about their problems than they do. I can't be all in solving your problems more than you do, because it affects how I show up. It affects how I feel about you. And it's not a healthy way to be there. So the way I look at it now, I used to insert myself in problems with the kids too. And it's like, no, I'm here as a support. My job is to support my husband in being the best parent he can be. This is our home. We're running it together, but I'm a support for you. And I'm not going to take over. When you take over, it literally leaves you feeling drained and depleted. And if you are doing that right now, stepmoms, please take a step back for your own sanity, because seriously, it takes a toll and it leads to a whole lot of resentment. And when you start to resent all of the extra stressors that come with being a stepmom, it causes issues in your marriage, and it becomes not worth it. It really becomes so overwhelming. Like, my hands used to shake. Mm-hmm. I would be like waiting for a text from the ex trying to figure out if we could solve a problem. And then I get anxiety when I would get that text. Like, that's no way to live. I needed to set some boundaries, and that really changed the vibe of our home, our marriage, and just my faith in how things are going to work themselves out. Next thing is disengaging. Here's the really important thing. Disengaging is like when a stepmom takes a step back. When I took a step back, I would say it changed the vibe of everything. Like, it totally changed the vibe of everything. And I encourage stepmoms to say, is my involvement helping the situation or making matters worse? And when you disengage and take a step back, there's the whole not your kid, not your problem. It's like a nacho mom approach. You disengage because you love your family and you love your partner and you want what's best for your family, not because you're like, screw you, you didn't do it how I wanted you to do it. Does that make sense? Like, yeah. I used to kind of do that. And I'd be like, well, if my say is not, going to be taken into consideration, then I'm out, right? Like, I'm not doing anything. That's not cool. Like, that's not a good way to do it. Take a step back and say, like, this is affecting how I show up for you and for the kids and for our family. And explain it to your partner that way instead of doing it out of anger, because disengaging can be done with love and it actually changes the vibe. So now Darren is like the lead when it comes to basically the major parenting pieces with the kids.
So you're still involved?
Oh, I'm still involved, but if you have to have the heavy conversations.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So he's the lead on that, and I'm here supporting him instead of me taking over and doing it all myself. So you can take a step back if you feel like you're feeling overwhelmed. And that's true for all areas of life, right? In your relationship, like, you can take a step back, and it's okay to do that for your partner. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Anything you want to add on that?
No.
All right. So that's another thing I want to say is, like, reevaluating your involvement with the kids. Is it working or is it making your matters worse? I went through a phase where I was like really trying to assert myself. It's like, no, I'm a parent in this household. They have to listen to me. They have to respect me. And yeah, 100% they do. But when it comes to the ex and when it comes to your stepkids, is it working? Is it making matters worse? Or would taking a step back be best for your vibe of your household? So that's where I say, like, take your ego and put your ego aside. I've had to do that a lot. And just know that your involvement with the kids and with the ex can change. Like, there's times when I'm all in, and then there's times when I'm all out. Mm-hmm. And it can totally change, and it can ebb and flow. You're going to like this one. You were quiet on these ones, but you're going to like this one. The communication piece. Do you intend to not tell me things about the ex? Like, when you are having conversations, I will be like, well, when did you guys talk? I'm like, oh, well, you didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me that this happened. And you're like, oh, I totally forgot. And we used to get in arguments all the time because I would be like, what do you mean you forgot? Like, this is important piece. This is important information. Like, why aren't you communicating that to me? And what do you want to say to the stepmoms who?
You're very detail oriented, and you want to know, well, what was said about this, what was said about that. And it was just a 2-minute conversation, or it was just a quick email. And
what did they do with their hand?
You want to know details. And to me, it was just, I don't know. It was just.
You didn't intend not to tell me.
Yeah. It's just another quick conversation. But I think that's part too, because you're not engaged anymore. You want to know, well, how are you dealing with this? And it's still important to you. And how are you going to deal with this? And I think that is the big piece when it comes to that. But if we forget every little detail, I don't think it's a big deal because, again, I'm not as detail oriented on that stuff. Usually it's sort of what is the result of the conversation.
But even like you'd sometimes have conversations and not tell me about them. And you're not doing that on purpose. It took me a long time to recognize like, you're not doing this on purpose. You just aren't thinking about it anymore. And I think women, and I don't mean to generalize, but I kind of do mean to generalize, we tend to be consumed about things and really mull things over and like overanalyze things and all of that. And you guys don't. Like, you've dealt with it and you've moved on. You're not thinking about it as much as I am. So if you want to know stuff about things that are going on with your partner and sex, just ask. Just ask them. And don't expect them to always tell you everything because they probably just forgot. Like, it's not their intent. They just forgot.
Yeah.
And then the last thing in this long-winded, but hopefully these tips are really helpful, I do think that they will be, is asking your partner, what do you need from me? So you have to check in with your partners. Like, what do you need from me right now to show up as our best? Like, what do you need from me this week when the kids come? Like, making that plan for when the kids come, who's going to be doing what? How do I need you to react? How do I need you to show up for me this week? What do I need you to understand? Like, just asking each other, what do you need from me, can go a long way. And hearing each other out. So you've said to me, like, I need you to lay off.
Yeah, I think it's really important to have that open conversation and talk about, maybe you just need to take the pressure off me and not worry so much about this at this moment because I've got, a busy week with work or the kids are busy. And that can be one of the things. The other thing I think sometimes is just, it's good to reach out and say, hey, how can I support you? Well, you know what, it would really help if you would do this or, let's go out on Friday night together so I can blow off some steam, so to speak. And those are all great conversations to have is, well, what can I do for you? And what can I do to help you? And
yeah, we got into a good habit of when we're stressed.
I think we've been doing that. Yeah. I think we've been doing that more and more is there anything you need from me? Especially when you can see that the other person is busy. And that's just in marriage too, or
struggling.
I just got a lot of stuff going on. It's great when you'll say, I'll do this for you. I'll do that for you. It's like, oh, thank you so much. Or just, support. Why don't we watch a movie tonight at 9:00? Shut everything down. I'll still be working at 7 at night. And you'll say, what about 9:00? Date in bed, Netflix,
make out.
So those are all, great ways to support. And then you'll often get me to open up sometimes when I'm not opening up about things. Yeah.
And even I'll say, what do you need from me this week? He's like, I really need to spend some one-on-one time with the boys. Cool. Right? Like, so you're just kind of on the same page about what that person has on their agenda that week and just having that open communication. That question can go a long way in so many different circumstances. And I think, again, I think that would be like one of the big things that's really changed how we show up for each other.
Yeah. And that's a good one too, when you will ask and I say, I would like to spend time with my oldest daughter, or we want to look at schools. And a lot of times I'd be stressed about bringing that up because we've got a million things going on and I feel like I'm taking time away from the other things. And when you come to me and say, what do you need? Well, I want an afternoon with her, or I want an afternoon with the boys, or I want to take Reese, to the park today at 6:00.
Yeah.
And you'll be, that's great.
Yeah. So. Or I'll say, I need to sit in my room and read a book for 30 minutes and have no one say my name. And then we can help each other make that happen. So just being really, really open about what you need and what's going on is such a really good thing to understand. And the one thing that I want to add on that is when you're having conversations about how you're feeling and things you're struggling with in your step family life, going in with this disclaimer. And if you're in the membership, the exclusive stepmom community, you hear me say this all the time. But we'll go in with the disclaimer saying, like, I don't need you to understand why I feel this way or respect, or I don't need you to agree with how I'm experiencing this. I just need you to respect that this is how I'm experiencing it right now. And going in with that disclaimer is just saying, like, you might think this is crazy that I have this insecurity as a stepmom, but honey, this is how I'm feeling right now. Like, I need your support with it. Like, this is what I need from you right now. That can go a long way too.
And that's good because I don't always get.
No, you do not.
I do not understand sometimes why you're feeling like that. Why would you be feeling like that?
That's crazy.
It's
irrational.
Yeah, not a normal feeling. And then you explain to me why you are feeling that way.
Yeah.
And sometimes it takes me a little time to go back and digest it, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, to wrap up those tips, guys, it's really about picking your battles, playing the long game. I love to ask myself, like, what would my 95-year-old self say? Like, if you're 95 years old, looking back on your life, what would you say about like your reaction to this stressor? Like, is it actually worth it? Is it actually that big of a deal? So that's been really helpful for us. But yeah, check your ego, take a step back, love on your partner, support them. That's kind of what we're thinking. So yeah, that's what we have for the blueprint, guys. You know what? I hope you took notes. If you want to go back, take some notes on this. I highly recommend listening to this and then listening to it again, because it really, really did, all of this stuff change the game for us. It changed the vibe. It changed how we show up for each other and how we deal with those stressors, because you can only control your own home. When you can feel more in control of those situations, it can go such a long way. That's it for this one. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't already, and if the podcast has been resonating with you, I would be forever grateful if you would head on over to iTunes and give the show a rating and a review. And if you know someone who would benefit from listening to this episode, be sure to send it their way. Now, if you are craving more, head to my website, jamiescrimger.com. There are lots of blog posts and podcast episodes and resources available for you over there. And if you really want to dive in, I do take on a limited number of coaching clients every month. So you can book one call or work with me for 3 months. Either way, we will create an individualized plan for your unique stepfamily situation. Remember, sitting around biatching about how hard being a stepmom is won't make being a stepmom any easier. If you want change in your life, it has to start with you. Chat with you next week.